But to play great defense, you need one thing above all else.
That starts with a W.
Confidence.
So here's my opening statement. We are going to do Hurricanes and cons, which is what are you most confident about? What are you most concerned about when it comes to the Carolina Hurricanes? Hurricanes and cons. Get it? Here's the opening statement. Identifying things that you are concerned about or that you don't like about the way a team is playing is not saying the world is coming to an end and this team is bad. And saying things in response. If I don't know, a sports radio host were to bring up something that the Canes might want to do better if they want to win in the postseason or if they want to live up to their potential, it is not the mic drop you think it is to say, Canes have won 8 of their last 10. Okay, yes they have. That does not mean that everything they're doing is fantastic. And especially if you are a team like the Carolina Hurricanes who are going to be judged success or failure on the season on winning in the postseason. Really good teams get run out of the postseason early every year. And that can't be the first time they address certain flaws within their program. So if you do bring up, hey, this player needs to pick it up, this line needs to pick it up, this defensive unit pairing, whatever you want to call it, needs to do something better than they're doing, it does not require every Canes fan to white knight come riding in to defend their honor. It's actually like something that I think is necessary towards, and I'm not saying like our discussions are necessary. I'm saying that the discussions are happening is necessary, right? Strengthen your strengths, find your weaknesses, fix them. That's how you end up the most fortified unit you possibly can be going into the postseason, which is when teams are really judged. If this were 7 years ago and Rod had just taken over the Canes and you're coming off of whatever it was, a bunch of years of not good hockey, then yeah, 8 out of 10, you win 8 out of 10, pure celebration, will overlook the flaws. At this point, no, if you think there's something, a little check engine light on, yeah, point it out. It does not mean you think the team is bad. So we are going to do Hurricanes and cons. We are. And we're going to say what we're concerned about when it comes to the Carolina Hurricanes. You're allowed to be concerned about a team that you have high opinions of. That's my opening statement. Now, Dennis, give us what you are concerned about. We start with the bad news, as always.
Depth scoring for this team. To me, especially over the last half of the season, if you look since the start of the calendar year of 2025, the Carolina Hurricanes have played 34 games. In that stretch, they've scored 100 goals. In that stretch, 100 goals in 34 games, that's just over 3 a game.
I was typing it in right now. 100 divided by 34, 2.94.
I'm sorry, 2.94. Yeah, so it's right around 3 a game. But it's on the wrong side of 3.
Yep.
If you look at since that stretch of time, Andrei Svechnikov has scored 6 goals. I know he's been hurt, but even if you go back before the injury, he only has 1 goal since the start of February. And again, I know injury aside, but again, only 1 goal in that stretch of games he's played since the start of February. So that's something you have to take into account as well. Jack Roslovic has 4 goals in the calendar year. Jesperi Kotkaniemi, right around that same number. I think he's at 5. Outside of Sebastian Aho and Seth Jarvis, there has not been consistent scoring with this team. Now, you anticipated and hoped that Mikko Rantanen was going to be that. Obviously, that it didn't work out. It's what it is. Believe it or not,
did Mikko Rantanen, did something went on this year?
Allegedly. Mark Jankowski has more goals in the stretch of games that he's been with this team since the trade deadline than a lot of these guys that are supposed to be top 6 players, top 6 forwards, are producing. So yes, there is a legit concern about secondary scoring after you get outside of Aho and Jarvis. It has to be more than just those 2 guys that consistently get on the stat sheet, because If Aho isn't on the stat sheet or Jarvis isn't on the stat sheet, where is it coming from? It has not consistently come from any of these guys.
I don't have the numbers in front of me. I would not be surprised. Matter of fact, I'd be surprised if this wasn't true. I bet you since Jankowski joined the team, he's leading the team in goals.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
100% is.
I mean, it's not great right there.
I mean, good for him. I mean, like, I'm not trying to discount obviously what he's doing, but to ask Mark Jankowski to be something that he hasn't been in his career is not a good form of practice.
Yeah, we don't want Jankowski to stop scoring goals. We want other guys to start scoring goals more consistently.
I mean, if you have Jesperi Kokiniemi, Jack Roslovic, since the start of the calendar year, has 4 goals and 6 assists in 2025. That's he did miss one game, illness.
And by the way, like, you could throw Jackson Blake in there.
Yes, I would 100% throw Jackson Blake into that mix as well.
Some of the blue liners who maybe you would hope would toss in a few more. Like, it's not a one-person thing. Goal scoring at the levels that we expect from the Canes hasn't been happening. Which maybe you're like, oh, Canes set the bar too high. Well, that happens.
I mean, if you look at the second line that has Kokiniemi, Roslovic, and Taylor Hall right now. Now, Andrei Svechnikov looks like he's set to play tomorrow. We can get into that in a little bit. But Roslovic, 4 goals. Mm-hmm. Kokiniemi, 5 goals in the calendar year of 2025. Taylor Hall has like 5 goals in the last 3 games.
He scored 4 consecutive for the
yes.
The
so
Canes.
It's, again, there has to be more secondary scoring outside of the quote-unquote top guys.
My concern is nearly the exact opposite, and it is not. It's like more about my reaction than it is about the actual performance. My concern is the goalies.
Really?
And here's why. I have no reason based on, that's a great way to start a convincing argument. I have no reason. The goalies have been playing really well the past 20 games, right? Like, statistically, for a while, Pyotr Kochetkov was one of the hottest goalies in the league. Freddie Anderson has been really, really good as of late. And I thought that would alleviate some, maybe it's like flashbacks, right? Like old worries popping up. But I thought that would eliminate my concerns, right? Because so often over the last 5 years, goaltending has kind of been one of the things that have held them back in the postseason. And then Pyotr Kochetkov had 2 rough outings. 2. Saturday, and then their most recent game. The 2 rough outings, 2 shaky games, whatever you want to call it. And I couldn't help it but get nervous for the goaltending. I couldn't help but go, oh no. Does this mean Freddie's going to have to play more? I don't like it when Freddie has to have a huge workload. Oh no. Is his durability going to act up? Is this going to be a real thing for Pyotr? And I don't, those are intrusive thoughts. I didn't want them to pop into my head, but they did. And if I were really confident in the goaltenders, 2 games wouldn't shake me at all. 2 games would be like, oh darn, maybe he ate some bad pasta. It would just be like, oh, no, this is nothing. But I can't help that the intrusive thoughts jumped into my head. So until they go a postseason with really strong postseason play, and they're not giving up the traditional 1 to 2 softies a game, I'm just going to be concerned. And I don't like that about myself, but I had to acknowledge it on the air. Other than that, they've actually been really, really good at keeping pucks out of the net. But that's the reason. How good they've been, I shouldn't be where I am now. But there's always that post. It's like Josh Allen. Josh Allen, everything he's done over the past couple of years tells me I should have nothing but confidence in him. When he gets to the postseason, I'm still I think he's gonna pitch it to no one. And that's not fair. But it's until he gets over the hump, it's just gonna be a concern of mine. Until the goalies play really well in the postseason, I guess I'm just going to have to live with that concern. So I'm concerned about it, whether it's rational or not. Let's get to the fun part. What are you confident about when it comes to the Carolina Hurricanes, Dennis?
Ironically, it factors in goaltending. It's the penalty kill. You're the best penalty kill in the entire league.
That's rational.
That's it. That's it. Penalty kill is the best in the entire NHL. Confidence, done. I rest my case.
My confidence, and this goes along with what I've been having a good time discussing, is depth. The depth is impressive, right? Because for every time I say, it's a fun exercise. When Svech, who, by the way, what's the update on Svech?
Svech said after practice today, he says he feels like he should be ready to return tomorrow in the lineup.
So Svech is looking like he's trending towards a return. We hope William Carrier will be returning soon from an injury that's kept him out a while. If they both do, the Canes have a really tough decision on which forward to healthy scratch. Every time I bring that up, somebody reminds me it's a first world problem, right? Somebody reminds me it's a good problem to have. It's better to have a tough decision on who to sit than it is to have a tough decision on who to play. And I completely agree with that, which is why I'm confident in it, right? And like even with you're bringing up, Roslovic hasn't been scoring as much as of late. When Jack Roslovic signed, if you would have said through 70 games he's going to have 21 goals, it's like, you know what? All right, that's a pretty good depth piece, right? Pretty good depth piece. I think Jankowski, you would have signed up and said he's going to have 7 goals the rest of the year. You probably would have been like, sign me up. He has had essentially that much in less than 10 games. Robinson has done some good things. Gostisbehere is a newcomer. I've really liked what he's done at times. I think Kotkaniemi at times has been a really solid kind of bottom 2-line center / 2 center in a pinch. Like there's some depth there. Scott Morrow, when he's pulled up, has played done some good things back there on the defensive side. So depth is what I'm looking at. I do think there needs to be a little bit more production from the top heavy guys, right? To use a term that comes about twice a year from Rod. The top guys have to play like top guys. I think there could be a little bit more of that, but I have confidence that, you know, they've got 13 forwards that I really like as NHL forwards in their role, which is not a lot of teams can say that.